Hello my lovelies and welcome back once again to Lauren Levels Up. Today is my birthday and I am heading out tonight with family and friends for a meal. So what I really wanted to do was just sit down, paint my face, do it whatever I wanted to do, and then I also ordered some new makeup in time for my birthday as well, which I have been trying and testing out, which has been really good fun. And eventually I came up with this look here, which is basically a pinky plummy eye look with a little bit of shimmer in there and a little bit of smokiness on the inner and outer corners of the eyes, and just a soft glam that is perfect for a birthday or special occasion basically. So without further ado, I will get straight into exactly what I did to achieve this look. Please don't forget that if you enjoy this today and you find it useful to leave me a comment and subscribe to my channel if you would like to see more from me in the future. But for now, I will head straight into this tutorial for you.
So I'm basically beginning by priming my eyelids with Tarte Shape Tape just to neutralise any colour that's in my eyelids, and then I'm setting that down just with a little wash of powder from my NYX Contour and Highlight palette, just to make sure all of my shadows are going to blend nicely. And I picked up this gorgeous Huda Nude palette in the medium shade. And I'm basically starting off with this colour in my crease, and I'm just slowly building that up with windscreen wiper motions just to create a little bit of depth in that area, but also to provide us with a nice transition ready for our other shadows to go on too. Then with a slightly smaller brush and a slightly deeper colour, I'm just working that into kind of the centre area of my crease only, just to deepen up the colour tone in that area and also slightly towards the outer corners of my eyes as well. And then taking this gorgeous kind of coppery rose gold shade in the centre of the palette, just pressing that on to the free lid space only with my finger for the maximum effect. And then I'm going back in with that same deeper crease colour on the outer and inner corners as well of my eyes. And what this is basically going to do is start creating a little bit of depth and dimension in the eye look so that it doesn't look flat. And I decided as well that I wanted to do more of a halo effect to this, so it's just going to really bring out that shimmery shade in the centre. So here you can see me just building that colour up before I then go ahead and just give it a few swipes with my big fluffy brush just to blend everything outwards. Using the darkest matte shade from that Huda palette, I'm then taking a small pencil brush and I'm just starting to really kind of build up the intensity in the inner and outer corners now, just to create a really kind of smoky vibe to the look without using sort of really kind of obvious colours like blacks or greys or anything like that. So it just creates a little bit more of an interesting look. I then went ahead and added a very slight winged eyeliner with my NYX liquid liner pen. And I don't ever take this all the way across my upper lash line, just because I think it makes my eyes look a lot more round, as they are already round in shape. So if you stop towards the centre of your lid, then it basically just helps to make the eyes look a little bit more elongated. And then I'm also not a massive fan of very sharp graphic liners, just kind of left as they are. So what you can see me doing here is just pressing a little bit of a black powder shadow into the eyeliner, just to soften it up a bit and make it a little bit more sort of sexy and smoky. And then this is also a product new to me. This is the Urban Decay Perversion gel pencil liner, which I must say I was really impressed with. This really does come out black as the night, and it didn't budge all night. Even though it's a very creamy textured pencil, it didn't sort of transfer to any other areas that I didn't want it to be in. So I must say I was really impressed with this pencil if you're looking for a new gel eyeliner. And then here I'm just sort of going back in with a little bit of that plummy coloured shadow just to balance everything out again. And then just a quick swipe again with my big fluffy brush, just because we've added more shadows, just to make sure that everything's looking really diffused and blended. At this point it was time to clear up any shadow fallout from underneath my eyes. just because we're working with a lot of different colours. And then I went ahead and added a generous coat of my favourite Too Faced Better Than Sex waterproof mascara. And I specifically chose these Eyelure lashes. They're in the more natural range. I will link down below exactly which ones these are. But the reason I chose them is because they were just dramatic enough to add some real kind of wow factor to the look. But at the same time, they weren't so big and so full that they were going to hide the all of the eyeshadow work that I'd just done. So just popping those on here just to add something to the look without covering up that eyeshadow. Moving on to skin, here I am basically just colour correcting underneath my eyes with Tarte Shape Tape in light medium sand, just because it has that perfect peachy tone to it to neutralise any darkness that I have in those areas. And then I'm just swiping a little bit of that second darkest colour that we used in the crease, and I'm just taking that from the outer corner, no further in than the centre of my lower lash line, just because again I don't want to make my eyes look any rounder than they already are. And then with that darkest matte plum shade, just swiping a little bit of that into the same area, but keeping it closer to the lash line this time, just to add a little bit of smokiness and balance on the bottom lash line. And then anybody who watches my videos knows that I always need a green colour corrector on my nose, which likes to go red at any opportunity. So here you can just see me adding some of my Laura Geller colour corrector in the green shade to any areas of redness on my face, just so it doesn't peek through my, my base makeup. For which I'm doing a little bit of a concoction here. This is a mixture of the Becca Backlight Priming Filter, the Too Faced Born This Way foundation, and then I'm also adding just a dot of the Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation, just to make sure I've got exactly the right colour match. Just going to go ahead and dot that all over my face before I go ahead and start blending that away with my damp beauty sponge. And when it's a special occasion and I've deliberately set aside time to do my makeup, this is something that I like to spend a lot of time doing, is just really bouncing that all over my face, working it into the skin, just for the most natural finish in texture. Because if you spend some time doing this, the makeup really does blend into your skin's natural texture, and it just gives the most gorgeous glowy natural finish. To brighten and conceal, I'm using Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair Neutral, with a little dot as well of the light medium sand, just to add a little bit of the yellow undertone that I tend to need in my skin. And I'm just blending that away with the pointy end of my blender and pulling it right out towards my temples, but I'm not dragging it downwards, only ever right sort of upwards towards the corner of my eye. And this is basically just to really help to lift the face and bring out the cheekbones. And then also just a little dot of that in the other centre areas of my face, so my forehead and also my cupid's bow and my chin. And then whenever I'm doing a more special occasion look, I do like to do a cream contour. So for me, I'm just basically using a foundation shade that is a good few shades darker than my natural skin tone, and then just warming it up on the back of my hand before dotting it onto the areas that I want to contour on my face, so the areas that I want to look more shadowy. So for me, that is just underneath my cheekbones, the sides of my forehead, and then along my jawline. And then I will just go ahead and blend that away, again using my sponge. If you're new to cream contouring, then try not to worry if you're doing this for the first time. It can look a little bit crazy when you first start blending, but just keep going, keep blending, and everything will blend seamlessly into your foundation. And you'll have a much more natural looking contour than if you purely used powder shades, which can sit on top of the skin rather than blending into it. And then to set the areas that I concealed and brightened, I'm using my favourite translucent setting powder from Hourglass. This is the Veil translucent powder. And pressing that in to kind of mattify and add a little bit of extra coverage to the centre of my face. And then to set the periphery of my face, I'm just using a brush to apply a really light dusting of that same powder, basically, just for a more natural effect. And then using my NYX Pro Contour palette, I'm basically just taking a little bit of one of the more neutral toned powders over the top of the areas that I cream contoured. And this is not only going to set them in place, but it's also just going to intensify them slightly as well, because it is an evening look. And then just to kind of bring everything together, I don't tend to go mad contouring my nose, but I will just swipe a little bit of that powder down the sides of my nose, right up into the corner of my brow. For highlight, I'm using the Iconic London Illuminator drops in the original shade, and again, this is another product that's new to me and I really am enjoying using it. It just gives the most natural highlighted meshed in colour that really does look lit from within, so would highly recommend this product for a liquid highlighter if you're looking for one. And then for blush, I'm using my absolute favourite Revolution Pro palette in Sugar and Spice, and I'm basically just building up the two kind of most neutral rosy shades in this palette, just to give a really natural flush of colour that isn't going to detract from the colours on the eyes basically. Now this is another product that is new to me. I picked up the Nude Sticks brow pencil, and I must say I did take a little bit of getting used to, just because the actual tip of the pencil is thicker than I expected it to be, but once I got used to using it, I must say I did quite like this, and it definitely stayed in place and it gave a really nice defined but natural looking brow. The only thing I would say is if you're looking to buy this is just opt for a shade lighter, because I did buy the darkest brown shade that they do and it was very dark. I can only just get away with it. For lips, I decided to go with a pinky nude, just because again I didn't want anything to be sort of competing with the eye look that I'd done. So here you can just see me lining my lips with my NYX Suede Matte Lip Liner in the shade Los Angeles, and then just doing a little bit of shading as well and overlining to contour my lips and make them look a bit bigger. I do have a completely separate tutorial on how to do this if you're interested, so I'll pop a link at the top of the screen just so you can take a look at that if you'd like to. And then the pinky nude that I've gone for is this Kiko Milano Gossamer Emotion lipstick. I believe it's in the shade 306, but again, I'll link that down below for you. And then finally, to finish off, just a quick swipe of my Body Shop Lip Shine. So this is the final look that I went for. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, maybe found some new products to try out, or maybe some tips and tricks that you might use in the future. So for now, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this, and I will see you next Wednesday in my next video.